A very good evening to you from the SBC newsroom. 6 operators in the aquaculture sector received their licenses this afternoon to enable them to operate aquaculture farms of different edible species. These species are spanner and mud crabs, rock oysters, sea cucumbers, shrimps and prawns. The licenses span from research and development to hatchery and nursery and commercial production. The Minister for Fisheries and the Blue Economy, Jean-François Ferrari, said the projects will create jobs and wealth in the years to come, and he urged the youth to seize opportunities that the aquaculture sector offers.
We are here to support you and to ensure that we make this sector a success story for yourself and for Seychelles. Today marks the beginning of another exciting journey ahead, and it also indicates that the private sector has taken this call to investment into the sector very seriously. I am sure that you will do your very best to target our youths and provide them with much needed opportunities to work and learn in this sector. I really look forward to seeing some new aquaculture products on our local markets very soon, and wish all new aquaculture licensees good luck and much good luck in your new ventures.
Despite being on vacation, the Supreme Court will meet next Monday to decide on the start of trial in the Firearms and Prevention of Terrorism case. The date had originally been set for the 1st of this month, but one of the reasons for the delay was the issue of payment of legal fees for Mukesh and Laura Valabji's lawyers. As ordered by the court in the last proceeding, it learned today that both accused have already filed separate applications relating to the release of funds for legal fees. It's the Anti-Corruption Commission which must release the funds, and its lawyers have asked for time to study the applications. And it's on the 12th of next month that the court will learn if the parties have been able to resolve this issue. Yesterday was the last day for people to submit applications for one of the 48 industrial plots of land on Eve Island on Pralin. 29 applicants submitted their documents on time, which means that the other 19 plots will be put out to tender. The Industrial Estates Authority Chief Executive, Roy Colley, said that 153 people had applied, and saying that only 29 people submitted their documents, this is an indication of vigilance happening in this procedure. The National Consultative Committee on Employment has held its first meeting after 2 years, where it discussed several issues regarding the labour situation in the country. The committee is a tripartite body comprising of representatives of employers, workers and the government, established in 2010. The first meeting was held at Independence House and presided by the Minister for Employment and Social Affairs, Patricia Franco. The Principal Secretary for Employment, Jules Baker, says the most pertinent issue discussed was challenges the sector is facing after the COVID pandemic.
One of the main challenges that we face now is the issue of youth unemployment. We've realized that youth unemployment remains a challenge for Seychelles, and we have to do better with what the resources we have in terms of reintegrating our youth into employment. The challenges that we face is that we have a lot of youth dropping out from school at a very early age, or they are not successful in terms of getting into post-secondary education, and the level of education to access employment is quite challenging for them, and that's why we have these employment programs. But another issue that we need to deal with is how do we manage non-Seychellois vis-a-vis locals. What we realize is that how do we manage recruitment of non-Seychellois, knowing very well that we depend a lot on foreign labor. But our challenge is how do we meet the skills gap coming from supply from our education system to the demand that is being requested on the labor market. And our most important thing is how the community will address the issue of human resource development and planning in the near future. We have a committee already established on this issue specifically, but more so when the policy paper will be drafted, we will also discuss with the private sector on this issue.
The National Assembly has approved a series of amendments to the Beneficial Ownership Act. This is one in a series of legislations recently approved to comply with requirements by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, on money laundering and financing of terrorism. Presenting the amendments to the Assembly this morning, the Minister for Finance, Nadi Hassan, said it was necessary to keep the legislation up to date with international standards. The Minister added that the rapidly evolving situation in the world today means that constant changes to legislations, such as the Beneficial Ownership Act, are inevitable. The United States is expected to commit $55 billion to Africa over the course of the next 3 years to address core challenges facing African countries. The announcement was made within the context of the second US-Africa Summit, which is taking place in Washington, D.C.
The $55 billion pledge to Africa, which the Biden administration announced during the second U.S.-Africa summit, still needs to get the support of the U.S. Congress, but it is meant to support the development of African countries. Further details about this pledge is expected to be made during the coming days, but the deputy spokesperson at the U.S. Department of State, Nathan Tech, says that the U.S. wants to build a modern partnership with Africa.
The fact is that Africa is now a geopolitical player. It is a major player. It represents a major block of votes in multilateral organizations. So really, we want to develop a really set of strong, sustainable partnerships with Africa that are built on mutual respect.
Around 49 countries are participating in this summit, with the majority being represented at the level of the heads of state or government. Some of the topics that have so far been addressed by the summit include the use of space to support the Sustainable Development Goals and the role of the private sector in implementing the US-Africa partnership.
Those are our main stories so far this Wednesday evening. Join us again at 8 for the news in Creole. Bye for now.